Hi, welcome to lesson number 4. Today your intro music was a song that I composed. It's called China. I went to China and taught English there for a semester in college, and I really loved it, and then lived again in Taiwan for a couple years, serving a mission for my church. So I just really love Asian everything. so anyways, there's some instrumental things that you could listen to on my website with that song if you wanted to, but anyways, that's the intro for today. But today's lesson, number 4, is going to be an easier lesson than last week. Not as much going on. So this will be one that you can get through pretty quick. It's kind of nice to have some of these shorter lessons with not as much work to do. But we're going to talk a lot about staccato, and before we start though, we're gonna do some flashcards. So that's where we'll begin, and just be ready for a good lesson. So as we begin, I'm gonna just talk through a few things to help you remember how to remember these notes, okay? So the first thing we're gonna talk about are these space notes in the bottom. So if you look at my first one, this one, I've got one space and it's on my second space. So here's my C, E, G, okay? So my space notes are gonna go A, C, E, G on the bottom if you're going up the spaces. And there's actually a saying, I don't know if I've told you this one yet, but maybe I have. All cows eat grass. So the first space would be an A, second space, cows. All cows eat grass. Does that make sense? So there's a little reminder for those bottom space notes. Okay, now I want you to remember this one is on the same line as this dot. And if you remember what we call this clef, sometimes we call it the F clef. And this is the G clef where the G goes, the G line is in the middle of this swirl, okay? So this one is F because it sits here on the same spot as this dot in the F clef, okay? Now, if I'm going up my, oh brother, sorry. Okay, this one you know for sure, right? Middle C. All right, this one down here in the bass clef, he's the middle, right? The middle. So I like to think of him as the D for middle or for D. Or sometimes I think of him as the dead center of the middle. So either one of those. Just remember that D is this middle line right here on this base. Okay? So I've got D and F. And then my top line of the base is going to be A. Okay, so those are kind of my line notes in the bottom for now. Okay, now, and we move into the top. This D is down below all the other lines. So down below D, down there, okay? That's that one. My first space is going to be F. Now, as we get into more of these notes going up the treble clef, we're gonna learn a saying called space spells face. So my space notes are gonna spell the word face, F-A-C-E, going up. So my first space is the F for face, okay? A couple more. This is B. He's the king of the bass lines. So king of the bass is B, okay? He sits on top of all the other lines. And the last note that we'll talk about is G. He's my G clef person note because he is on the line that goes in the middle of this swirl. So he's on the G clef line for G. Okay, so there you go. That's your review. Now you get to race me. So I'm going to give you just a couple seconds and then tell you the answer. So try to beat me. This is E, A, F, D, C, G, B, F, D, G, E, C, E, A, F, D, we're going through again, C, G, B, F, D, G, E, C, E, A, F. Okay, that's at least twice. All right, now we'll dive into our lesson. We're first starting in our theory book, and we are going to talk more about staccato. So staccato, if you remember, is the tap type of playing, okay? And it's indicated by a dot above or below the note, okay? And they're telling you it's like jumping beans. They just jump up and down. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so down below here, here's your job. You're gonna go ahead and mark your staccato sign underneath all of these notes and above all of these notes. And you're also gonna put in your measure lines. So this piece has 4 beats per measure, and the quarter note gets 1 count. So make sure you put 4 beats in each measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, line. 1, 2, 3, the rest is 1, so 4, line, okay? So put your measures in there. And then, so they tell you to play it staccato and then play it legato and give it a new name, okay? So I'm gonna give you the example of the staccato of this song. We're starting on C with our right. C, D, E, D, C, D, E, rest. G, F, E, D, C, D, E, rest. E, F, G, F, E, rest. G, F, E, D, C, C, C. Okay, now if you were to do legato, this one. Okay, and that's all we're doing in the theory book today. Now, in the technique and artistry book, we're just doing this page 8, and here we are practicing our staccato legato, okay? Dun, dun, hold. Dun, dun, hold, dun, dun, hold, dun, dun, hold, okay? And then here's legato, da, 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 dun, 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 okay? Then you're gonna do the same with the left. So I'm gonna give you an example. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, bounce, bounce, 1, 2, bounce, bounce, 3, 4. Now all this is kind of connected together. I'm not smushing it together, but it's connected. Then staccato, dun, okay? Now it tells you to repeat it an octave higher, so you go ahead and play it up here again. Then down here, my left hand, dun, dun, hold, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. All legato, staccato, 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 staccato. 1, 2, staccato. Then it says to go ahead and play that an octave lower. So you can go ahead and do that. Okay, that's all for that book. So that's something that you're going to practice every day for a little bit until you've got the hang of it. Now the last thing is we do have another jumping bean song. Okay, so we're doing lots of staccatos with our right and our left, and there's not much to it, honestly. It's just staccato work. So we have piano here. Make sure that you hit your rests where they need to go, And then at the very end, play the highest C on the piano, bunk, at the very end. We'll do the example of this song and then the teacher duet with it. So 1, 2, ready, go. G, 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 rest. G, C, rest. Rest. And my high C is the very top note of my piano. All right, and we're gonna do the teacher duet. Coming in with 4 counts. Here we go. 2, ready, go. So not too bad. That's the end of the lesson. Hooray! Easy one today. So practice those up, get them all ready to go, and I'll see you next lesson.